Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Webster Ace Hardware and Farm Supply are generous sponsors for today's podcast. They have been a family-owned business for 27 years. This helpful hardware store sells items such as archery, Ariat clothing and boots, Wrangler jeans, case knives, Hammond's candies, and live fishing wear. They also have a full selection of hardware, RV supply, propane, Ben Moore, Royal & Clark, and Kenningston paints. You need a barn or fencing job done? Custom barn kits and roofing metal are provided at your local Ace Hardware store. What about a new grill for the yard? Traeger, Big Green Egg, Weber, and Blackstone are found here, along with all the accessories to go with them. Stock up your workshop with DeWalt, Milwaukee, or Craftsman tools. They got you covered. Remember to go to ace.com to shop their entire line to have items shipped directly to the store. All right, welcome back to another edition of the Goblay Show. I'm your host, Billy Goble, and today I have a special guest. I say special because he's my brother, and we're doing this show not live, but taped in near Montgomery, Alabama, where he lives now. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce back again for the second time my brother, James Goble. James, welcome to the show, buddy.
Thank you.
That's a good introduction.
We're having a good time.
We're having a good time. So, how you been?
Better than I deserve.
There you go. That's a good way to do it. I like it. How's living in Alabama?
It's been good so far.
Yeah.
We got here in June.
Yeah.
It's January right now. So we've been here about 7 months now, 8 months. I don't know. I can't math. But we're doing good. You know, we like it. It's different. It's back towards the south, back towards home where we wanted it to be.
Yeah.
We miss Oklahoma. We loved it there, but it's been good so far.
Yeah, you've done some traveling over the last 12 years when you started your Air Force career.
Yeah.
And it's been quite a journey, but all roads lead you toward home, they say, or to home, but you're on your way back, per se.
Yeah, it's been a slow progression. You know, I started in Idaho, worked my way back to Wyoming, then a little bit closer in Colorado Springs, a little bit closer to Enid, Oklahoma, and then now we're 6.5, 7 hours away in Prattville, Alabama.
Sorry, I was adjusting my mic. It's hard to... We're in my brother's... What do you call this? The Green Monster Room?
I'm still working on a name. I was going to say Fenway South, but that already exists down in Fort Myers, so still working on it. It'll be something Fenway related.
How about Midway? Fenway Midway?
It's a mouthful.
There you go. That's too much. But for those of you joining us on the feed, he's a big Red Sox fan. If you can't, I don't know if you can tell by what memorabilia you see on the wall, but he's got quite a bit of Boston Red Sox memorabilia. He's a big Boston Red Sox fan, and he changed this room, transformed this room into, it's exactly the same color as the Green Monster. I keep looking around because I'm like looking at all the memorabilia and stuff. It's pretty cool. So I try to do the same thing in my studio / man cave. Mine'll be the Pittsburgh / Dallas / Florida Gators / anything that I like. But you did a good job in here, buddy.
Yeah, that was the hard part. You know, I had so much stuff from so many different things. You know, I had a bunch of UCF memorabilia, and you know, UCF is my college team, and just had so much more baseball stuff. Yeah. And I think it's easier to collect baseball memorabilia than it is any other sport, because you got little things. You got the baseballs, you got the bobbleheads, you got bats, you know, there's just a number of things. And I was looking at what I had, and I was like, you know what, it's time to just fully send it. You know, I always think of our Uncle Bobby's gator room that he had growing up. He called it the swamp, and I've said since I was a kid and I saw that, I was like, I want to do this one day. Yeah. But so this is my first attempt. Right. Now this is a temporary home. We're not going to be here forever, but so this was, you know, working some kinks out and seeing what I liked, what I didn't like, and so that's where we're at with it.
Yeah, like I said, you did a good job. You're trying to make it in my game room / studio / party area, poker room, whatever you want to call it. I've got just a plethora of things, which is okay for right now. I want to change it up, but focusing on one team makes it even more special because, like you said, when Uncle Bobby did it with the swamp, he did the colors. He had, even the saltwater fish were orange and blue. He had goalposts in the fish tank.
Yeah,
just the little details that make it cool. And then one day, somebody might see it and go, "Oh, I want to do that one day."
Yeah,
just like you did. So how's it living in Alabama? Is it you accustoming the change? It's more South. I know you grew up in the South, but this is kind of like they say the real South, with Alabama.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm a pretty simple guy. It's been fine for me. The people are good here. I can't complain. It's been easy so far.
Yeah. I've never been to this area before. Yesterday, while you were at work at school, I went around, did some sightseeing, and I went to which I've always wanted to do. I've wanted to go see Hank Williams Sr.'s grave. Ever since I saw the Alan Jackson video, Midnight in Montgomery, and it was awesome. I'm glad I went. I'm the kind of person that if I really, really want to do something, I'll do it. But then there's also a chance that I might talk myself out of it.
Yeah.
So when I thought about it yesterday, I was like, no, maybe I'll just wait. And then I'm like, when am I going to be up here again? Like anytime soon. Might as well do this. When am I going to come back to here? My gosh. But I'm like, what I mean is I'm not going to come up here like next week. So I might as well do it.
Yeah.
And I've waited this long. I might as well just go ahead and get it, not get it over, but just do it. And anyways, I went to the graveside, and it was pretty awesome. It was very humbling because it's like, and I was nowhere near the age to even listen to Hank Williams Sr., but I got a lot of Hank Jr. And for Southern people, that family's a big deal, especially in Alabama. It's a big deal. But I got to go by there and pay my respects, and it was cool. I just don't know. In the song it says he drove that Silver Eagle, the big tour bus. There's no way. He must have parked on that road out there and walked. Because you're not getting a Silver Eagle down this road in the graveyard. It's not happening. It's very, very tight. I could barely get my compact in there, but So previously Air Force. Now you're finishing up your teaching. What you got going on? Any endeavors you're gonna try to working on, or
So this is my 5th year teaching. And my last year teaching. So
fifth is the best.
I'll drink to that. So now I'm looking to do some different things. Got a couple applications out there for some other work, but on the side I started. So I'm a big Dave Ramsey guy.
Yeah,
that's why I say when people ask me how I'm doing, I'm better than I deserve. It's Dave Ramsey's thing.
Right.
Anyways,
okay.
Yeah. So
didn't know he had that patent.
Yeah,
that's his go-to thing. Or
every time someone calls in, hey, how you doing, Dave? Oh, better than I deserve.
Oh, gotcha.
So I got a coffee mug that's got it on there and everything. So,
okay. So he definitely markets it.
Yeah, for sure.
Gotcha.
It's
cool.
It's kind of his thing.
It's a cool phrase.
So back in December, Cassie, my wife, and I were talking about different things we wanted to do, what we want to do in life, where we want to go, kind of what our goals were.
Mm-hmm.
And this we followed Dave's baby steps, which if you're not familiar with the baby steps, it's how to get out of working your way out of debt, building up an emergency fund, paying putting money into investments. There's a whole thing of it, but we really liked it.
Yeah,
we really liked it, and it really helped us. We both agreed, when our first date, first thing we talked about was our kids, because we both had kids. And the second thing we talked about was finances.
Yeah.
And we talked about how we don't want to live paycheck to paycheck.
Gotcha.
We want to be comfortable with where we're at. And so going through Ramsey Solutions, and listening to Dave, we kind of got on the right path where we're doing that now.
Gotcha.
So to take it to the next step, I went through a financial coaching class that he does online with his financial coaches. They teach the class, and so now I'm a Ramsey certified financial coach.
Oh, okay.
So it's just helping people that are, I put it on my post. You're sick and tired of being sick and tired of struggling with money. And so what a financial coach does is just kind of guides you along the way. It's not a quick fix. It's not something I'm going to look at and say, oh yeah, we got it. We're out of debt now. It ain't like that. It's hard work. It's hard work getting out of debt and getting that financial freedom that most people are looking for.
Yeah.
Because finances are a huge struggle in a lot of marriages, a lot of people's personal life. It's tough. So it's First Base Coaching Solutions, your first stop to financial freedom.
Good. Like it.
Yeah. So
Sketchy.
Yeah, it's a.
it reminds me of that there was a bar in Winter Garden.
Yeah,
you remember that?
Oh yeah.
We used to drive by. Not that we went there, but it was just so we drive. Yeah. You couldn't help but notice it. But it was in Winter Garden, right off of
third base,
right off of 50. It was called Third Base. Last stop before going home.
Yeah. So. And that's
what a great marketing.
So I agree.
I'm sure
100%.
somebody was drunk when they made that. They're like, I think, you know what, Reggie? I think. Hold on a minute. I got a great idea.
So when we lived in Enid, there was actually where our ballpark was. We had a really nice ballpark. I don't know if you ever went and saw it.
I don't think I have.
It's a gorgeous ballpark.
I saw your football stadium. I didn't see the.
Oh, the baseball stadium is top notch. They do the JUCO World Series there every year.
Cool.
It's elite field for a high school. It's got to be top 10 high school baseball stadiums in the country. Well, there was a restaurant on the third base line that went out of business, so that building was for lease. And I was talking to Cass about it, and I was talking to our buddy Dave.
Dave Ramsey? Or?
No. I wish. Yeah, hey Dave, float me some money here.
No, but you're not financially responsible.
GM of Tommy's Express. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that Dave.
Okay.
But anyways, I was like, hey, let's open a restaurant here. It's on the third base line.
Yeah.
And I was like, let's call it Third Base Bar and Grill. And we'll use the catchphrase because I remember that from being a kid in Winter Garden, I think it was, and always seeing that. And I was like, what the catchphrase of? So that always has been kind of stuck in my head, and that's why I went with First Base.
That's cool.
Financial coaches. And it actually goes back to the Red Sox, too. There's a story. Nuff said McGrevy had a bar on the third base line or third base side of the street at Fenway.
Okay.
And people would get rowdy after games or whatever. He'd bang his hand on the bar and say "Nuff said," and people would stop. They'd squash the argument because he didn't want to mess with Nuff said McGrevy.
Yeah.
But his bar was called Third Base as well. It was the same slogan. So that's where it started.
Okay.
So that drunk guy in Winter Garden that came up with that slogan, he got it from there.
I thought maybe you were referring to the First Base Buckner.
No.
Sorry, I'm not trying to bring him. That's a joke between him and I. That's
okay.
If you don't know, that's Bill Buckner fumbled the ball between us. A routine grounder to first, and he's like, "Oh God!" In '86 when the Mets beat the Red Sox. But anyways, we don't hold punches here. We just.
I wasn't alive then, so it's okay.
That's true. This is before your time. That's like the 1900 when the Red Sox beat the Pirates in the World Series. The very first World Series. They were,
1903.
Yeah, 1903. Wasn't part of it, so I don't care. That doesn't matter to me.
But
so go ahead. You talking about Ramsey? Or,
so that's what's that?
So you changed. You got your name and everything.
Yeah. So we got.
It was going to be third base, and you changed it to first base.
Yeah. The initial one we had talked about calling it third base.
Gotcha.
But I was like, well, that doesn't make as much sense,
right?
Because it's not the final turn of your financial journey. It's the first step. It's the first thing you got to do. The first thing you got to do is get, as the Ramsey Solution said, you got to get gazelle intent with paying off debt and stuff. So it's really your first step. And a lot of people struggle with it and they don't know where to start. And that's what I'm looking to do is be helpful to someone and guide them on that way.
Right.
And it's a way to keep me involved in coaching, but it's more than just coaching football or coaching baseball. It's coaching life skills. It's coaching stuff that football and baseball, those things are super important, but your finances are really, really important. It's more important than
absolutely
sports,
Absolutely.
So
those that financial stuff is going to obviously carry you for the rest of your life. So you need to be better at that.
Right.
Even though I don't really know a lot of people that are really good at financing.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of people that, even the most responsible people that I know, struggle just to keep. Because nobody. Let's just be honest. Facts are facts. Nobody likes to pay bills.
No.
Nobody likes to pay bills. So. You always think of it as a negative thing. Obviously, it is, because it's debt. You owe debt. So you got to go from making it where you hate it, to what I started doing a couple years ago is I started making like a game. Like because everybody's competitive, whether you want to admit it or not. You can be the most competitive person, and some people know it, and some people don't. But I try to use that as the competitive nature to make sure that, like, if I had a bill that, like, say I had a $2,000 balance on a credit card, just saying, you try to make those payments where, you're not paying the interest where you're paying more than what you owe, obviously, right? So you're trying to make it like a game, like, okay, if I give the standard, whatever the standard lower the minimum payment is, how much more do I need to give to make an impact?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And a lot of people just, and everybody's done it. I do it all the time. Minimum payment. Okay, cool. Get off my back for a month.
Yeah.
Everybody does it. So it's, and when you get into financial stuff, people get kind of, they get real clam-like.
Yeah,
they
real protective.
And I'm like, I wish people just would realize that everybody's been there.
Yeah.
It's like any other life lesson. Like, are you a good driver or bad driver? Well, it doesn't matter. You drive, right? So either whether you're good or bad, you're still driving. Finances is the same way. You're still there doing the same thing, whether you're good at it or bad at it.
Yeah.
But just people take it really, like, there's an offense to it almost. Do you feel that way?
Yeah, it can be an uncomfortable conversation with a lot of people. And it's not to say that, like, the people that do this, the people that are financial coaching, like, we're not perfect with it either. Heck, we struggle with it all the time. We struggle every month,
right.
with making the right decisions. We have the foundation part of it. I got the foundation part of it down,
right.
But life is about. Life can be tempting. You want to take a random trip to Disney, which we did.
Yep.
And it, luckily it's something that we're like, okay, we got to be smart about this.
Yeah.
And that's where, like, having someone in your corner and someone kind of guiding you, they can just kind of help you see things a different way. Yep. Someone taking an outside look. But what you were talking about with paying off stuff, that's the debt snowball effect. That's that's baby step 2.
Yeah.
Is paying off debt. You start off with your lowest amount.
Smallest consolidation thing.
Yeah. You pay minimum payments on everything else.
Yep.
You pay a little bit more on that first one.
Yep.
And then once you're done with that first set, you roll that into your second one, and you just keep going.
Keep going in there.
And that's what he preaches. And I can tell you from personal experience. Having $50,000-$60,000 in debt and paying it off in 2 years.
Yeah.
It's a good feeling, and the system works. So it ain't something I came up with, or that I know it's worked for millions of people, and it's something I'm excited to share with people.
Yeah. I will say that it's and don't get me wrong, because there's going to be people that will see this and they're going to be like, yeah, it's not as easy as it sounds, and absolutely not.
No, it's not.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: is a lot of people don't understand. Like I said, if you make it a game, you're competitive.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's your finances, your job. People, like, when I used to work in lawn service, right? I worked for Massey. You can ask Daniel Strickland. I asked him every time when I was in training. I'm like, how many more do we got? How many more we got? It's not. I wanted to go home, obviously, but how many more we got?
Yeah.
How many more yards do we have left until I can go home? And that sounds bad, but that's my mentality. I'm like, let's knock them out.
Yeah.
Why would you wait?
Yeah.
Or why would you take, and I'm not saying that I wouldn't do a good job on the lawn. I didn't cut corners. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I just want to know how many, we got 18 left. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Jonathan always says, ain't nothing to it but to do it. Yeah. Let's do it. So I'm always saying, that's in my mind. And that was back in 2005. I was probably in my early 20s. Now, if I'd have just took that same perspective and applied it to my financial side, but everybody in their 20s is horrible with money.
Yeah.
I mean, there's 30, 40, 50-year-olds that are horrible with money. I'm still not good with money.
Yeah.
But I'm better than I was when I was 18.
Yeah.
So that's a step in the right direction, I guess.
And that's the big thing is it's so important to learn at a young age. I teach Algebra 1 in here in Prattville at the high school, and I've got 10th graders. And, we have a kid that's, looking at, he's a 4-star defensive lineman. And I was talking to the class about finances, and I kind of looked at him and I was like, you really need to listen to this.
Yeah.
Because we had like a free day or whatever, and I was like, I'm going to teach y'all something that's really important.
Some life skills.
Yeah. Like that I think is super important. And we pulled up the investment calculator and talked about if you put in, $100 a month into a 401k from 21 to 60, 65, whatever it is, and the amount, and you just see their eyes light up and they're like, oh. I'm like, yeah, I wish I'd have been doing this at 21 years old when I joined the Air Force.
Yep.
Or 22 when I joined the Air Force. And so we're playing catch up. But if you start young, you don't have to play catch up.
That's right.
You can get ahead, and
that's right.
So.
Well, I think it's very, I don't know if they're afraid to tell the secret at a young age or what, but it's like, why couldn't you tell me? Well, of course I wouldn't have listened, but but you know what I'm saying, like what somebody laid out for me, Jimmy. When I was in high school, I know you. Okay, first of all, guys, the math classes I took were not the same classes that he took. Okay, and I'm not afraid. I'm not ashamed to say that because I'm not a student. I'm not a school person. I hated school. So I'm going to do whatever. Hey. What I got to do to get out?
What I got to do to get out of here?
Yeah.
That's done pastoring.
Yeah, exactly. I've never changed. I've been the same way. 2.0 to graduate? All right, done. Don't mess up. Don't mess up and tell me I need a 2.0. Don't judge me. We listen. We don't judge.
That's what they say.
But what I was getting at is, if at a young age, like when I was in high school, we were taught how to write a check. Like, go to your school and ask a 10th grader how to write a check. I guarantee you,
most of them don't know what a check is.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is it's still a relevant thing.
Yeah. But
people don't do it anymore. Yeah. We were taught how to read meters on your house. I'm like, are they trying to? I'm like looking around. I'm like, as I'm in my class, I'm like, is this Votech? Are they trying to recruit for Seco? But I'm like, gotta learn how to read a meter. Little things like that are what went longer in my life knowing how to do than, it kind of goes back to what you said about taking that trip to Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Financially, was it the best idea at the time? Could you do it all the time? No. But was it something that you'll remember?
Oh, yeah.
Then it was all worth it. Because it reminds me of that episode on Boy Meets World when he wouldn't let Corey stay up he let Corey stay up for the game, and he missed. He either made a bad grade on the test, and Mr. Feeney said, I'm not letting you make it up. Because he slept in late or he didn't get enough sleep and he wasn't ready for the next day. And basically what he was saying was, my dad let me stay up, or my dad wouldn't let me stay up and listen to the radio during one of the presidents, Churchill or Roosevelt, whatever. Yeah. Somebody on the World War II side. I don't know who it was. Might have been FDR. But he said, the thing was, what did I learn the next day in school? I don't remember. But I always remember my dad You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Doing something with that. So what I'm saying is something like that it's very, very spontaneous could be something you'll never forget. You know?
Yeah. There's a better way to do it. I mean,
absolutely.
we were good, but it's about learning to pick and choose moments like that and preparing for that stuff. I mean, spontaneous stuff is great.
Yeah.
Occasionally,
absolutely.
but you can't live your whole life spontaneous, just living by the moment.
No.
It's about having a plan. So, but yeah.
Well, you talk about like the whole thing with Dave Ramsey, and like I've heard different things about him. I've only heard good things about him, and I think Nicole and I have listened to one of the things on her phone. But I'm going to tie this in, and it's going to take a minute, but let me tie it in real quick. So I was asking people at work the other day, I was like, I saw this reel. Somebody asked how many seconds, doing the distinguishing a million between a million and a billion. We know the difference. We know the two words mean different things. We know there's quite a bit of difference, but do you really know how different those two words can be? And he said, you take a million seconds. How long do you think a million seconds would be?
I have no clue.
Just take a guess. And into days. How many days?
11 days.
You got it right on the dot. Buddy.
He told me the story yesterday.
but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
11 days.
Yeah.
And then how many were a billion?
Like 31 years?
31, almost 32 years. Right. But so what I'm saying is you're trying to distinguish the two, but and we were talking. I was talking to somebody else, and they said, yeah, Ramsey was giving an example about how like if a middle class family wanted Italian for an occasion or whatever, just a Thursday night or Friday night, we want Italian. Where would we go, or what would we do? Well, they'd probably go. A middle class son would probably go to Olive Garden or something like that, or if it was. Have you ever been to Papa Joe's on 50?
Mm-mm.
It's a Italian. It's really good. Anyways, or something like that where it's like a special occasion or like an anniversary, whatever. He said upper class or the top 1%, if they want Italian, they go, all right, what time's the flight leaving? We're going to Italy. And then he said something like, well, people are like, well, that's a little extreme. We could never do that. And he says, those guys, by the time they write everything off, that flight to Italy and the meal and everything would cost them less than you taking your family out to Olive Garden or Papa Joe's or whatever. So it's all about perspective too. So it's like, but it's crazy how you kind of, you don't really think about stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you kind of overthink things, if that makes sense. So what do you think?
Well, I mean, again, billionaires, that's completely...
Well, that's a whole nother regime.
A whole nother category. But, it's you got to have a lot of things go your way to become a billionaire. You don't have to have a lot of things to go your way to be a millionaire. To be an everyday millionaire where your net worth is worth $1 million.
True.
It's not unattainable.
Yeah.
There's a study out there that shows, like, most millionaires, like 82% of them, did not inherit the money. It was built through their net worth, through investing, through their normal jobs. They use their income because your income is your greatest wealth building tool.
Right.
It's putting your income in the right spot and doing that. So it's definitely doable. Everyone thinks a millionaire, oh, that's a ton of money.
They spend a lot of time being a millionaire.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, yeah, but it's achievable. It's doable.
Right.
I mean, that's our goal. That's our goal, is to have net worth of that.
Yeah.
And we'll get there one day.
Yeah.
That's our goal. We're gonna get there.
It just takes time and patience.
Yeah.
And it's like the old saying, Rome wasn't built overnight.
Yeah.
You got to establish wealth just like you would anything else.
Yeah.
You start a business and you're not going to be on the.
Yeah.
I started this podcast. I don't expect to be the number one podcaster the second day into it.
Yeah.
But I do it because I love doing it.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much all that matters to me.
But, for sure.
So, let's see. We're going to be getting in. It's almost baseball time. You ready for that?
Yeah, I am. I'm ready for baseball season.
Yeah.
I've been looking forward to it for a while.
You going to be able to catch any games?
Yeah, so Atlanta's about 2 hours from here.
I was just about to say, what's the closest city in Atlanta? Yeah.
Atlanta's 2 hours. We were looking at the schedule. The Red Sox are in town the end of May.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Yeah. So it's a Friday, Saturday, Sunday series. We're at least gonna go to one or two, go check them out, and then we have a minor league team here in Montgomery. That's a Tampa Bay affiliate, Goblay.
Oh, okay.
So we'll go to a couple of those, and Auburn's got a really nice stadium on their campus, for their baseball team, and a lot of good baseball in the SEC. So between there and the Hoover Met is where they do the SEC championship for baseball. So
okay.
Yeah, it's just right up the road. It's about an hour and a half. So
very cool.
We'll plan on doing a lot of baseball this year.
Will you ever go to a UFL game? Or no, that's not baseball, but
no,
it's right up the road in Birmingham.
Yeah, it's there. A lot of people around here like it. They talk about it quite a bit.
Well, it's because it's their closest professional team they've got.
Yeah. I'm not big on going up to Birmingham.
Yeah.
From the last time I went, which is another story for another podcast with another guy. I'm going to let him tell the story. KP, you're on the hook there.
Oh, there you go. I was wondering who you were talking about. Yeah. I was like, it wasn't me.
There's a Vespa and a KP, and he's going to tell that story when he's on.
I can't wait.
But yeah.
Carson's back with the Battlehawks in St. Louis. And I wanted to catch a game last year. They came to Birmingham last year, and it was the closest game that I could see. And it was weird because, Orlando used to have a team, and then they're like, nah, we're good. I'm like, you have a huge stadium that you could use.
Yeah.
But I don't think they like those stadiums. They like the college, like a college field. It's like UAB's field. It's just like more ideal.
Yeah.
Versus, like a Raymond James or a Citrus, like the Camping World or whatever it's called, Citrus Bowl. I always call it Citrus Bowl.
Yeah.
I was wondering why Alabama they don't have a professional team. What's up? Why? Or Mississippi.
I have no clue.
The two states side by side so you don't have a professional team, excluding the Braves, within like a 200 to 300 mile radius.
They're college teams. I mean, Alabama and Auburn are their professional teams.
That's true.
That's the first question you get when you move here is, are you War Eagle or are you Roll Tide?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I got asked that. I was on a coaching show with our high school team. They do a coaching show every week, and it's always with the head coach, right? And then every week they bring on an assistant.
What did you say when you said "Go Knights"?
Like, so they knew I was a UCF guy, but they asked me. They're like, "All right, we got to pick one." And I was like, "Well,
Oh my God, were they loading the shotgun when you?
Well, no, because I mean, I already had someone load the shotgun on me with that question. That was my old offensive line coach, Richard Helms. He told me, he said, "Hey, when you go there," I was messing with him when I found out we were moving here. I said, well, which one should I be? Should I Roll Tide or should I War Eagle? And he said, Jim, because he's always called me Jim.
He's the last one to ask.
Yeah, well, no, he was the first one to ask because I knew I was just messing with him, and I told the story on that show, the coach show. I was like, well, my answer to that is simple. I said I reached out to my old offensive line coach, and he said, go to both of them. He said go to a game in Tuscaloosa. He said go to the east side of the state and go to that school's game. Go watch one of them. And he said, and if you pick that school on the east side, don't ever talk to me again. So
at least they gave you a choice.
So I guess if I have to pick an Alabama team, I'll Roll Tide. But I don't really care. I stay out of it.
Yeah, well, you kind of like it's good to be neutral sometimes. It's like when people, when they pick like Alabama or Auburn or Georgia Tech, you're like, I don't care. Yeah, whatever. Y'all go beat each other up, and then we'll play somebody. Hopefully, you beat them up enough we don't have to play them very hard.
Yeah. Well, and then in the whole coaching world, it's when you have kids that go off to these places, those become your teams more than anybody else. Like, I mean, I watched more Kansas State football games the last 3 years than I've ever watched in my life because I had a kid playing there.
Yeah.
Now he's at Louisiana Tech. I'll watch more Louisiana Tech games than I've ever watched in my life, which is like 0. So I'll watch all of his games and go down and watch him play.
But you know what? Like, you know, people say it like, I hate this team. I hate this team. I don't think I really hate a team.
Well, I hate USF.
Okay.
So I get where they're coming from because I hate that place. Sorry.
Oh my God. Okay, I lost about 17 subscribers now. Thank you very much.
Hey,
this is him, not me. I'm just saying.
No,
This is
it's
not
100% me.
It's 100% him. He's going to fall on that sword. But what I'm saying is that there's a lot of people that go, I hate this team. And I'm like, you know, there's, like I told Kendall Smith came on the show, and I said, I always try to pick out one guy or one player. Sometimes it's a coach, but majority of the time it's a player because you see more of them on a random, on every college team. And I think that's a fair assessment. I think it's fair to acknowledge that there are other teams out there and that you're not just so biased that you're like, this team is the worst, or I would never go to, like, a lot of people won't even go on away games because they're like, I'm not going to that dump. Okay.
You can quit describing
and
me.
we'll be right back after this. We need the color bars. We'll be back after we got canceled. Thank you. I'm kidding.
Sorry, Kinley and Dad.
You got
Sorry,
alumni.
Dad.
Your own father's alumni. Jeez. Okay. Well, anyways, the Protestant son over here. So you know, you speaking of finances and football, we got to talk about NIL and stuff. We got to talk about what you witnessed, where you've been in the last couple of years, the difference, what it is now than what it was, just say 5 years ago.
I just think, I don't know. It's a tough subject because it is what it is, right?
Yeah.
I think the kids deserve to make a little bit off their, you know, the universities are making money off them, so why can't the kids get a cut? But I think what I don't like,
you said a cut, not life-changing money.
Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know.
That's the difference.
That's a tough subject because I can see it from all angles. But I mean, what's happening now is it's trickling to the high schools, and now the transfer portal, it exists in high school. It doesn't have the official title, and I'm sure it's not legal, but it's happening everywhere. I mean, you have a kid that, you know, is a 2-3 year starter for you, and it comes to senior year, he's gone up the road or down the street to another school. That it's just it's getting into where it's affecting high school sports now, and that's tough.
Well,
that's tough.
You know, like we mentioned it yesterday, and I forgot who I told. It was either KP or Bobby Carr.
Yeah,
Coach Carr. I couldn't remember which one I told it to, but I'm like, they brought it up and they said, yeah, there's kids that can't they go to this team or play for this team? I'm like, yeah, there's kids that they'll play football here for the fall.
Oh yeah,
and then they'll go and they'll play basketball at another school, or soccer, or baseball, or whatever, a fall or a spring sport, and then they'll be right back.
Yeah, that's wild.
They'll be right back
until you said that yesterday.
Yeah, they'll be right back. I don't remember who we was talking to, but anyways, I did mention that. I mean, there are people at that, and listen, I get it. I get that there are opportunities for people. I'm not taking away from that, but it doesn't make you. I don't know, and I'm not saying it negatively, but you got to look at it from the outside. You see somebody, it would be like a job, like your job record, the job record for, you know, like attendance. You'd be like, well, he shows up sometimes, and then sometimes he don't show up. So you're just like, you know, what? You know, how would you sell if you were a company and you had interest in this player? I mean, because there are teams that look for other players, and Hey coach, what do you think about this kid? You're recruiting him.
Yeah.
Hey coach, what do you think about this kid? Well, he's a stud, but I can't get him to show up at practice, and when he's there, he don't really do a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, how much time and effort are you gonna spend on that kid? What do you do?
Yeah, I don't know. You try to do what's right for the kid, but you also got to protect your credibility. You don't want to send. You don't want to recommend a kid to somebody if they don't have the work ethic. I mean, you got to tread that carefully because you don't want to stick your name out for them if they're going to go and
definitely not do that.
So it's about finding a balance. I mean, I think it's okay to tell them a little bit of both. I don't know though. Coaches don't come in and come talk to Coach Goble. they come talk to the big dogs. They just
I'm just speaking in general.
Yeah,
it's like what. Because everybody makes assessment, and they all want opinions. Yeah. So you might go ask 5 or 6 people.
Yeah.
I was just talking to my friend Christine Cartel. She was talking about that. She said, talking about being a leader, and even because she does a lot of theater stuff, and she's been in a lot of shows, and people ask about people. And it's a little bit different there because, you're always looking for a job. Mm-hmm. When this one thing ends, you've got to go find something else to buy the time. So she'll have people ask her, or she's asked people, or whatever. She's, however it goes down. What do you want them to say about yourself?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, it's almost like that the big thing where they say, how do you want to be remembered?
Yeah.
It's no different from that, because you want to have a positive influence on someone by your work ethic or anything you do in sports, on or off the field or off the court or whatever. You want that to show, you want that to express that, look, this is if you're going to invest the time in me, then I'm going to make it worth your while. And that should be every kid or every student athlete's ambition and desire. And that's my own personal opinion. I just don't think, and the way things are going now, you can go here, and if it don't work out, then you go somewhere else, and that's totally fine. But if you haven't been somewhere yet, and you go, I'm just going to go here. You haven't even given it a shot. What kind of commitment have you shown for anything else in your life? How are you supposed to have a job when you get done? When sports are done, how are you going to get a job? You're like, well, they don't really talk to me at my job, so I'm going to get out of here. But it does happen. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying, I'm not trying to be any kind of way. I'm just saying it doesn't even have to be your job. A marriage.
Yeah.
It's all about commitment.
Yeah.
Whether it's a job, your marriage, your kids. You can't just, you got to take care of the situation.
Yeah.
Pat's Taps at Catfish Johnny's. Pat's Taps is Lake Penosofsky's newest tap room, offering 14 rotating craft beers on tap. We also offer bottled domestic beers, seltzers, ciders, and wine, as well as a variety of appetizers and pub. Our family-friendly tap room is a great place to come hang out and enjoy some one-of-a-kind craft beer. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, or the Untapped app. Looking for custom apparel that stands out? Welcome to the Stitching Heifers, Bushnell's premier embroidery and custom apparel shop. From custom hats, t-shirts and jackets to unique gifts and business branding, we specialize in high-quality, personalized apparel that reflects your style and vision. Step into our exclusive hat bar and design your one-of-a-kind custom hat, perfect for personal flair or promoting your brand. At the Stitching Heifers, we're committed to bringing your ideas to life with exceptional service and attention to detail. Whether it's for you, your business, or a thoughtful gift, we're your trusted partner for all things custom in the heart of Sumter County. Stop by today or visit us online to get started. The Stitching Heifers, custom style, local heart. When it comes to building in Sumter County, experience matters. From remodels, barns, additions, and accessory buildings to creating the custom home of your dreams, our Hogan Construction delivers quality you can trust. Russell is hands-on and on-site daily, going above and beyond to ensure the project isn't just completed, but crafted to perfection. He doesn't just meet expectations, he exceeds them. For a builder who puts integrity and craftsmanship first, call R. Hogan Construction today at 352-793-7660. Russell Hogan Construction. Built on tradition, built to last. Catfish Johnny's Restaurant, serving the Lake Pennsauken and surrounding areas since 1990. For the last 33 years, we have strived to serve great food at great prices and a friendly, casual atmosphere. If seafood isn't your thing, our burgers or wings are the best around. We have daily specials too. Check us out on Facebook or Instagram for more information. Duto Realty is a homegrown business with an eye for getting the job done right. From football games to Sunday school and everything in between, these ladies care about our community and the people in it. Helping buyers and sellers in all of Florida with all types of transactions, including residential, commercial, farm, or vacant land. They do it all. They even offer auction services and sellouts to always get the job done right. Promotional consideration paid for by the following. Travelin' Tom's Coffee Truck, the delicious mobile coffee truck that brings you the caffeination inspiration you need. We deliver signature coffee products like our Nitro Cold Brew and Caramel Frappe to any occasion or festivity. And for those who don't like coffee, we offer a variety of delicious hot chocolates, energy drinks, lemonades, and teas. That's Travelin' Tom's Coffee Truck. Whether your water is supplied by a public municipality or a private well, for residential or commercial use, Purified Water Services LLC has the solutions to provide you with simply clean water. We offer a complete line of professional water filtration equipment and accessories. Soft water makes a difference you can see and feel. Water heater and appliances last longer with less maintenance. Iron and H2S filters eliminate iron stains and offensive rotten egg odors and protects your water softener equipment from iron fouling. No matter what your problem is, Purified Water Services LLC has a solution. Contact Kenny Williams at 352-446-2709. So we're going to move on from football, and I know you're a big NASCAR fan too, or you were a NASCAR nut for a while. You and Mike Cook would lay on the kitchen floor with, you looked like Bristol in the kitchen with all the cars.
Yeah, we had a pretty sweet collection back in the day.
Man, what'd you do with all those cars? You still got them?
Mom's got them somewhere in the garage.
They're probably all under the stove.
I'm sure there's a couple under there.
That's the garage.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I still...
You ready for Daytona?
I am. It's, I think it's 4 weeks away now.
Are they not?
February 16th.
Well, when this airs, it'll be March.
So yeah, that was...
Oh, wow. What
a great race. Hell of a race.
What a great race that was. Wow.
Hopefully it's not a dud.
Who knew that Hood would come off and fly off in the infield? I'm calling it. I'm doing like Notre Dame there.
It's crazy. Kyle Busch finally won the Daytona 500.
Matt Kenseth came back and won another one under caution. Hey, that's something I can honestly say. Tony Stewart never won a Daytona 500.
No,
I can hold that over your head.
That's all right.
Yeah,
that's 3 championships.
Well, that's Matt Kenseth had 2, so. Or did he have 1?
He had 1.
Okay, I was close.
Sort of. 11 days.
You're always good with those numbers, you son of a. This is brotherly love right here, guys. I tell you. So, anyways, NASCAR, it's changed quite a bit. The only guy I know, other than Bubba Wallace, is Chase Elliott. That's it.
Yeah.
And occasionally they throw some of the guys that we grew up with. Like I heard Jimmy Johnson is going to race a couple of races this year.
Yeah, he's a team owner now.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, why wouldn't
with
he?
Richard Petty?
But,
yeah.
I mean, yeah.
So he's running. Read an article the other day. He's running the 500 and the 600. I think the Coke 600.
Oh, so yeah, we saw him last time. Yeah.
Yeah, we saw him a couple weeks ago.
What a finish! Top 10 finish. That's going on my Seminole Hard Rock.
But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I still watch it. This is that weird time in the year because I don't really watch NFL. I'm not a big NFL guy.
You never have been, so I can't hold it against
so
you.
I'm a baseball, NASCAR, and that's really it. and college football, of course.
Yeah,
but,
of course.
So this is an awkward time. Well, it was that awkward time.
Dead time.
Yeah.
Dead air. Yeah. Do you do college basketball at all?
I watched it in the tournament.
Do you do the tournament? I mean, I'll write it down, I guess. I'll circle some names.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's not hard. You print it out.
Yeah. No, I'll go on ESPN and do my little bracket. I'll look at the standings for like 5 minutes and then pick. I have no clue anymore, though.
You're like, I got Colgate going in the third round.
Yeah.
Sweet 16.
I mean, maybe if UCF was relevant in basketball, which they were doing really good.
They still got Taco?
No, Billy, that was like 10 years ago. No.
I'm just kidding. I know that.
But so, no, I don't really.
Do you see Florida's got a 7'9" center?
Good for him. His knees are going to hurt one day.
He's from IMG.
Yeah.
He makes Shaq look like a 5-year-old. There's a video of him, Shaq, doing like in this guy's face and the guy. I can't think of the kid's name. I follow him on Instagram. But he taps him on the shoulder. And Shaq turns around and he's right in his chest. He's like, oh boy. And he looks up and like, oh. Like, that's the first time he's ever had to do that.
That's funny.
Probably Yao Ming, maybe, but it's pretty close. But yeah, no, do you watch basketball, like professional basketball? I remember you used to like it back in the day.
If the Magic are on, I'll watch them.
Y'all don't have a basketball team around here. The Pelicans are the closest one, probably, right? Or Atlanta. I had the Hawks, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, even when we were in Oklahoma, we had the Thunder, and they're doing really well this year, but I just don't really care for basketball. It's just not my thing.
Well, they've changed.
Got the score to the Oklahoma City game for some reason. My watch decided to tell me they beat the Dallas Mavericks.
Oh.
Yeah. Interesting.
Wow. Yeah. They're always
3 months ago.
They're always listening. 3 months ago. Go Mavs.
But
I was going to say about the Magic. We were at the Magic game one time. Kenny and I, we went, and it was the infamous game against the Nuggets. It was Denver Nuggets, Orlando Magic. Tim Hardaway gets ejected and throws a monitor onto the court. You remember that?
Mm-hmm.
We were at that game, and we're like, yeah! That was like one of the coolest things. Because, you go to a game, and obviously you're looking for a win. I mean, they did win, but to have the extra fireworks was the greatest part of the greatest thing. We talked about that for the rest of the night. We're like, yeah, he threw that monitor down. And I forgot who it was, like Bo Outlaw or somebody signed it, or Tracy McGrady, like, let me sign this monitor. We'll sell this because it's probably not any good. We're going to sell it at an auction. We'll make some money off of it.
Yeah.
You get any golf?
Not since we've been here.
I was going to say, I have not. That's one thing, I swear, since I've driven around since yesterday.
Oh, we have
I have not seen a golf course.
There's the Robert Trent Jones Golf Trail in Alabama. It's like there's 3 courses here in Prattville. It's right. I'll show you later.
Maybe I didn't go. Maybe I just didn't go by it.
It's like 3 18-hole courses that are all there. So that's 54 holes of golf.
Right.
And it's like a championship, like a Villages type of golf course.
Okay.
They've done some events there in the past. But very, very nice golf course. I just haven't made it over there yet.
I thought about when we went on the golf cart yesterday, we were driving around.
Yeah.
I thought that would be cool to have a golf course back here.
Yeah,
all that stuff. Yeah, that would be cool. You have plenty of room back here.
Well, until they put houses there.
That's the only bad thing. This dang house is getting in the way, of course. Yeah. When I used to golf at Lake Mona, I'd be in somebody's patio. I'm like, just playing through, guys. They're like, that's out of bounds. I'm like, no, it ain't.
Not for me.
Not for me.
I ain't counting it.
Nope. I'm not. Play it where it lies.
Yeah. No, yeah, it's big around here. The those RTJ courses, they're all throughout. There's a really nice one in Auburn, Opelika area. They're down in Mobile. There's one in Mobile, one in Dothan. I mean, there's a couple up in Birmingham. That's cool. All over the place. So that's like a thing that a lot of people do is they try to hit up all the different RTJ courses.
Oh, that's cool.
But they're elite level golf courses. So that's my plan is to get out there next summer. We got here. It was putting a house together. we got here on a Tuesday. I went to football practice on a Wednesday.
And you
The next day, and I never stopped until it was too cold to play golf. Too cold for me to play golf.
Well, there's no snow, so you can still find your ball. So.
That's true. That's been nice.
Yeah, I was gonna say the weather. This seems like a pretty ideal spot because it's not. I don't know how hot how hot was it in the summertime? Was it real hot? Or, it wasn't like Florida hot.
No, not quite, but it's like the next step down, I guess, from Florida. It wasn't as bad, but
well, you're further inland, so if there's a hurricane, you're good.
Yeah.
Because by the time it gets here, it's just a bad storm.
Yeah,
which that's a Tuesday in Florida, at the theme park. Or at work, whatever. You're like, oh, God, I gotta get out in this hurricane. I worked in a hurricane one time. Did I ever tell you that story? So I was working at Massey, and our general manager was like, who remained nameless because he's my buddy. I just gave him a hard time during that time, but he's like, y'all got to go out. I'm like, this is Hurricane Wilma. It's Cat 1. I'm like, dude, do you know what we're doing today? Do you know what we do for a living? We spread fertilizer. And I don't know if you've ever taken a handful of fertilizer and then shoot it with some wind. But it doesn't go far. And when it does, it goes where you don't want it to go. So, of course, in the villages, they've got these beautiful, like, they're not mosaic, but they're like the real expensive concrete that's like artistically done. They'll have designs and it's a driveway, for crying out loud, dude. But he didn't, if you threw fertilizer on there and you forgot about it, it would just leave dots all over the place, like little rust spots from the minerals. So you'd have to take your blower and blow all that off and stuff. But he sent us out there, and I was like, man, this is not going to be good. And I went to a guy's house. I'll never forget this. I went to a guy's house, and he goes, I knock on the door. He opens the door, and he goes, what are you doing out here? And I go, that's my boss. I don't know. I'm here to fertilize. And he goes, go home. I was like, can I get you? I'm gonna leave this bill with you. So I was like, I'll never forget. I had to work in the middle of a hurricane. I mean, everything else is shut down. Now it wasn't right over us, but it was still coming across Central Florida. We're 40 miles away. Yeah. Still bad weather. It could produce tornadoes. Yeah. And I'm like, nah, we're good. So I ended up taking I didn't have a poncho, so I took we had big pallets of fertilizer, and they had like clear plastic covers on them. I just took one out, put my head through it, made a poncho out of it. And just was skipping around like, here we go, guys, we're going out into the hurricane. They're like, what an idiot. I was like, hey, that's what I was paid to do, guys. It didn't send us home. What are we gonna do? Paperwork? We ain't got no paperwork. So the weather for the most part is like okay.
Yeah, it's been great so far.
You haven't got any snow yet.
Not yet. Supposed to get it 2 weeks ago. No, I'm sorry. 2 months ago.
Don't you?
Okay, we're supposed to get it January 21st. Okay.
Don't you feel like a time traveler? You're like, yeah. Like, well,
we're allegedly supposed to have this big snow.
I'll let you know if it happens.
Yeah, I mean,
so
it's
far
in
so
the
good.
I-10 quarter supposed to get snow, so I mean, we're above it.
Hey, you're like, so far so good. It's the worst stormy record setting. You're like, it's good. Good. 65. I went out in my flip flops. It was like 35 yesterday morning. I was like, oh man, this is great. I love cold weather. I love it.
Yeah, I used to think I liked cold weather until I lived in Cheyenne, Wyoming. And then I realized I do not like the cold weather.
Yeah, it was. I remember that time we were in Wyoming, and you get out there and you get the snow shovel and you clear off the driveway so we can kind of leave and stuff. And about an hour later, there it was back. All the wind. You lived on the end of the cul-de-sac thing and just blew every.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's miserable.
You know, they talk about, you know, those wildfires they had a couple months ago. We're not laughing at the wildfires, guys. We're talking about the time frame. But they were mentioning how they're like, yeah, the wind's horrible there. I'm like, really? Have you ever been to Wyoming? Because you're talking about tractor trailers being. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that all the way. You know, when we used to drive out there, and I'm like, oh my gosh. The one time we went out there, the very last exit that you could go to or go off of was the one. Thank God was the one we took.
Yeah.
To see you in Wyoming, Cheyenne. From there on I-80 was closed.
Yeah.
I'm like, what do? You just camp out on the side of the road? You're like, dinner's almost ready. Headed home. Oh, crap. Looks like I'm staying 2 days in the car.
Yeah, it was different. That was a different experience. So I moved there October 1st, right?
Yeah.
And it snowed on October 5th.
Dang.
I moved that following year. I left like 4th of July weekend, and it had snowed Memorial Day weekend. So we had snow off and on from October to May.
Dang.
And there was one in March. It was actually during the NCAA basketball tournament. But I went off base to go pick somebody up and bring them on base for us. And when I was driving down the road looking for a hotel. I drove past it. I was like a mile past it.
Dang.
Because you couldn't see. It was just complete whiteout. And then I got stuck trying to turn around. So it was a great day.
The only time we've experienced and it really wasn't a whiteout, but the closest thing I've ever been to a whiteout was when we went up to Pikes Peak. We went up to the top. And that train ride, bro, I felt like I was intoxicated. Like, I sat down and I was just so deprived of oxygen that when I sat down, I was like, oh my gosh. And I remember sitting down, I thought I was going to throw up. And everybody has to go to the bathroom because they get out the train like they just took an 18-hour train ride. They're like, everybody hit the bathroom, you know. So I'm waiting on everybody to get out of the bathroom. I'm like, I don't feel good. I think I'm gonna yak. And they had like the little food court thing there or whatever, and I think I got something like caffeinated, like a Coke or something. And so I drank that, and I was like, you know, I felt way better. But we went outside to take pictures, and I'm like, they're like, yeah, from Pikes Peak you can see all the way to Kansas. And I'm like, yeah, on a clear day in maybe July, but they say you can see all the way into Kansas. And I'm like, oh, wow, that's cool. We go outside and you can't see 5 feet. And I'm like, wow. So Nicole and I took pictures, and it was just like, it looked like we were in a car wash. Like, there was white foam everywhere. It was like, oh my gosh. But it was an experience. It was either 12 degrees or negative 12 degrees. I can't remember which one it was, positive or negative. But at that point, it's just cold. You know what I mean? What's the coldest you've ever been in that you can remember?
It had to have been any pick a day in February in Wyoming.
Wyoming?
Yeah.
Wyoming takes it again, folks.
Yeah. No, I remember we were working out, or actually, this was in Idaho. We were working on the flight line because Wyoming didn't have a flight line. I was thinking it was Wyoming, but there was no flight line there. We were in at Mountain Home working on the flight line, and I had like 6 jackets on. We were doing barriers out on the flight line, and there's nothing around, so there's nothing to block the wind. And I just remember, just shoot me in the head. This is miserable.
I want to get hit by a bus.
I'm like, I'm from Florida, man. This is awful. That was awful. That was terrible.
Coldest I've ever been was what you said, Wyoming.
Yeah.
When we stayed in that hotel.
Yeah, it's brutal there.
We were coming back from your house, stayed the night at the hotel on base, and I remember going from the parking lot, and you know how far that was. It wasn't very far. Mm-hmm. Going from the parking lot to the door, the foyer door of the hotel, felt like someone had a remote and they had me in slow motion. Yeah. And I just remember like it was so cold, and you just and then Mom got sick. That's when Dad was sick. We don't want to say that story on there. We'll say that for another time. But Mom had that massive. She's like, I had a migraine because of it, and but I'm like, what is going on, you guys? You guys are falling apart. But it was but the cold was no joke, man. It was crazy.
Yeah, no.
But
I'm glad to be out of that.
Well, yeah, you're not out of the woods completely, but it still can get cold up here, and snow apparently last month.
I think it'll be a frost.
Hey, listen, I like being ahead. Like, I always pre-tape these things because I like being ahead because I'm not scrambling for guests. You know what I mean? Like, I gotta promote everything. So I'm like, let me, and it's great. So it helps. So that it's a curse and a blessing.
No, I got you. I'm just
I know, but it's funny talking in like past tense. Like, yeah, I was 32 at the time.
Back in the day, 2 months ago.
I say all the time. I don't want to sound like an old man, but back in my day, we had paperback books. Yeah. What's something that you miss about Sumter County? Be nice. Something good, because you gotta there's something. I know.
No,
there's something.
I miss a lot of the people that I grew up with, those relationships. Back in December, which was in the past, when we went down for the girls' dance recital.
Yeah.
It was really cool.
That was actually last year.
Yeah, it was last year.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
But it was cool seeing I saw Coach Sherman. I saw Tommy and Loretta Ellis and Ashley and Cody Simmons. You know, you just see people from growing up that you kind of take some of that for granted. And so I spent the next day we drove back, and I spent so much time thinking about Tommy and Loretta and the impact that they had on me and they had on my life. Yeah. And it made it really special, just bumping into them, not even having a clue that they were there until the last 30 minutes of the show, when we realized it was Ashley's daughter that was up there, and I was like, oh, I had no clue. Daughters. Yeah. Sorry. Both of them right behind each other. But that was really cool. So I miss that. I miss, seeing those people, and and then guys like Brent and Mike and Chris and Ricky and just all Your Highness, the people that I grew up with that I spent a lot of time with. We don't see each other very often, but when we do, it's it's good. It's like nothing to miss. I mean, I texted Chris 2 months ago after we were sitting there listening to Lou Vega Mambo No. 5.
Oh yeah,
because
playing some Uno.
Yeah, playing Uno. But
that was a long game.
Gotta check out Misery Index. That's the real one.
yeah. 99.1.
But yeah, it's the people like that. I mean, there was one time we went back, or when I went back from Colorado, and we had that big fire out in the field.
No, I'm not being funny about the time frame. I'm talking about it didn't last very long.
Right.
Remember, because the wood was so dried out. It took 10 minutes. Right. Whoa, we need more wood.
Yeah. But that was fun, just sitting
Absolutely.
around, catching up with people, listening to music, telling stories
And the thing is, you want that for your kids. You want your kids, I want my kids to have the same close relationships with their friends as I did.
Yeah.
And you too. You know what I'm saying? You want the same. You want the same thing that you got to experience for them, and it's a big part of your life. I mean, like I always say, even though I don't get to see you all the time, because even when like Chris and Mike and them, I mean, I'll call them and text them. I may see Chris at work at Sonny's or in town or see Mike. Mike's been in our area patrolling and stuff. Like he was doing this job, and I talk to him every once in a while. I'll talk to Brent. Yeah, they're not Jonathan and Kenny and Kellen and Luke, and they're your friends, but they're like my little brothers. You know, like they're like, because you know they basically. Mom and Dad could have claimed them just as easily as Aunt Lo could have claimed you on their taxes. You know what I'm saying? Like you spent that much time at your house. Yeah. But that's what it's all about. Yeah. You know, finding those people in your life that are special to you, and I think that's the one. That's, you know, when I said about, you know, what do you miss about Sumter County? I think if I were to move away, that would be the thing that I would miss, because I would say a community, because, you know, they always say it takes a village to raise a child, and it does. I mean, there's so many. I don't know if I told you this, and I apologize for saying it again, but I'm going to do it anyways. But the church ladies in our church at First Baptist in Webster, the older ladies, Lillian Radney and Ann Thompson and Marion Fussell, those ladies raised me as well as my mom did, and Nanny and Grandma. They were other mothers to me, and before they would pass or whatever, I would thank them. I made a point to go specifically to them and say, "Look, I really appreciate," and I know it meant a lot to them. I hope it did, because it meant a lot. They meant a lot to me. Yeah, and but it's hard to find special people like that anymore. And that's one of the advantages of a small town, is you get to experience the little town vibes. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's good and bad. They know everything about you, and it's funny because, you know, growing up in Sumter County for the first 18 years of my life. And then I went to Orlando for about 17 years. And it was like I had to go back. I left Sumter to go to Orlando to get away from the past. And it's almost like I went back to the past to get away from the past, from Orlando. Like, there are people that go, you know, our family would be at Disney and be like, "Hey, Billy, remember that I was shot?" Oh, no. It ain't no different from, "Hey, Billy, remember when we were in middle school?" And I'm like, no. You can be 50, 60 years old and you don't want your parents to know stupid things you used to do. Yeah. So it's kind of like it goes hand in hand. It's a weird feeling, but it's also, it's a good part of life. It's a good. I always say it's a good problem to have. You know, where you got multiple people. Like when Nanny and Grandpa and Grandpa and Grandma were gone, I told Marion and Marvin Fussell, I said, "Whether you like it or not, you're my grandparents now." And they didn't even bat an eye, man. They were like, "Okay, we'll take care of you. You know what I mean? We'll be there for you." Yeah. And that just meant the world to me, man. I'm telling you, it was like one of those things. But I feel bad for some people; they'll never get to experience that. Mm-hmm. And it goes to show you that, look, it doesn't matter if you have them or not. You can always adopt and adapt to people. You know, if they're willing and you're willing, then it makes a special bond and relationship. It's pretty cool. Yeah. So, when's the next time you're going to come down and visit? Pretty soon? Next month? April?
Yeah, probably in a month or two. Depending on when it airs.
We'll just say June. Say June.
Yeah,
we'll say June. For the recital?
Yeah. Okay. We'll definitely be back down for the recital.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be cool.
You know, it's just, we'll see. Yeah. I mean, Cassie's still active Air Force, so, you know, her schedule's what it is, and then I'm still teaching, so we really don't have a break. I get a spring break, but
well, yeah, it's not. I mean, it'd be hard to.
Yeah, and y'all aren't on spring break when we're on spring break,
right?
So.
That makes it hard.
Which hell, spring break? Heck, spring break might have been in the past.
By the time this airs, we've already had our spring break.
Well, we haven't had ours, but I think we're going back to Oklahoma.
Yeah,
on our spring break.
Okay,
see
cool.
some people.
Cool. Yeah. Well, whenever you come back, you have to come back down with some of the guys and hang out.
Yeah, for sure.
Come over to our studio and hang out in the game room there, shoot some pool or something. But anyways, hey man, thanks for sitting down with me and catching up. We got to hang out for a couple days, and it was great being here. And
yeah,
this area is really, really nice. I'm really like, you have expectations of a place that you when you were growing up, you always pictured where your friends live.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh yeah, I live here, and you're gonna go stay the night with them or something, or you're gonna go pick them up, and you have this expectation. Is this all psychosomatic or psychological? You're like, oh yeah, I bet their house is real nice, or vice versa. Oh, I bet they live in a dump. You know what I mean? I mean, it's nothing personal. You just, you get that vibe from people. You're like, oh yeah, this is gonna be pretty bad. And then you get there and you're like, wow, nice. I had no idea. You never tell them that, but you're like, wow, I had no idea.
So what I'm getting is, you thought we lived in a dump.
No. I'm saying when you grew up, your friends, you had no idea, because it was all sporadically, like it was all just chance. You're like, all right, do they live in the woods? Are they tree people? What is going on here? But anyways, I thank you for sitting down with me and taking time off your Saturday where you could be relaxing.
Hey, I'm relaxed.
We're having a good time, right?
We're having a good time, man.
All right, well, with that, I'm going to go ahead and sign off. Guys, thank you so much for joining in. I appreciate your support. I have all my sponsors. Thank you so much for sponsoring the show. If you guys have any comments, questions, or any suggestions, let me know how I'm doing. You can email the show at thegoblayshow@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out our social media pages. I've got Facebook, Instagram, and X. Don't forget also, all episodes are they're streaming live, not live, but full episodes on YouTube and Spotify. Now, Spotify hasn't been caught up lately. It's still back in the day to last June, but we're going to get those all caught up for you. But all episodes you can check out on YouTube. So anyways, guys, until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.